Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Life's Unfair, my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous playthrough series. Today we're going to be delving into the depths of Blackwater, which is a technologically advanced Sarkorian civilization, I want to say. Although it isn't originally Sarkorian, they've basically been subjugated by Numerian technomancer. It's a pretty crazy area. I don't know how well it fits the lore. It seems very out of place. They have a bunch of like computers and crazy stuff going on here. All these people are cyborgs. Everyone you fight is a cyborg. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy area, and it's one of the harder areas in the game too. I was woefully unprepared for this place, for several reasons, which we'll get to later in the video. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you. So when you first come into this place, you kind of get a bit of a rude awakening, in that. Yeah, there are literal Tesla coils up there zapping you, and the guys that you have to fight are also ridiculously tough. So I tried a few things to kind of avoid getting fried by the Tesla coils. I thought that maybe I'd do the standard thing where I send in the dinosaur and have everyone like stand further back, and then I was thinking that maybe the Tesla coils would deactivate on their own and stuff like that. This wand of call lightning is very useful, as you're about to see later in the episode. But yeah, it doesn't work. The Tesla coils just keep going and just keep zapping you until your whole party dies. There's really no way to avoid it. So basically you have to fight these guys head on, unfortunately. We can jump right into the episode now. So what I opt to do is the standard summon strat here. Definitely buff everybody up with resist lightning, because yeah, these guys cast the Tesla coils cast lightning spells. The guys themselves just hit really hard and don't take a lot of damage. Now the thing that you have to know about the enemies here is all of them, because they're all cybernetic, they're all cyborgs, they cannot be killed by conventional means. So you either have to coup de grace them to actually kill them, or you have to hit them with lightning spells to stop their regeneration. So you can see they regenerate 10 health basically every round, and even when you take them down, they don't die. They just lie there and they can just take infinite damage. The only way to actually kill them is to, when they go down, hit them with a lightning spell that stops regen and kills them. You can also hit them with your animal companion, apparently, or you can do what I do and just coup de grace them. Definitely inconvenient to have to run around the entire battlefield executing everybody. So after we take those guys out, right, you can see there was a use magic device check that I had to pass there. If you cannot pass, it's a 39 use magic device pass. If you can't pass it, you're basically stuck in here until you complete the whole thing. So definitely don't come here without being able to pass that, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble, in most cases. So you can see the next combat encounter up here. So when you walk into that place, this is the area to the left. So if you go to the left, you run into these guys here. Another set of enemies. Again, you can see they hit hard. They don't take, they have massive health pools. And yeah, they're off. So right there, plus 10. You can see their regeneration. That flayed skin cloak that I have on Wendwog and Arushla, you can see how amazing it is, draining constitution off all these guys. It's really good. I have it on both of them, and it's just amazing. Next set of enemies here is to the right. So instead of going left, we go back to that middle room with the use magic device check, and then we go to the right and we run into these guys here.
Godspeed. No time for debates. Do not hold back.
So this one's a pretty nasty encounter just because of how many of them there are. It did take a few attempts for me to succeed on this, because you can see, right, it isn't just these melee guys up in the front, there are some ranged dudes in the back, and spellcasters alongside the range dudes in the back. see he's casting waves of exhaustion, and really what this took was a lot of summons. Unfortunately, cheesing summons seems to be the order of the day, at least for my party on Unfair, because I'm really not at a point where I can, even now, right, so Blackwater was kind of towards the end of Act 3 for me. I want to say, well, actually towards the middle. So Blackwater, basically the middle of Act 3. By the time I'm done with Blackwater, I'd say that's towards the end of Act 3. And yeah, it's tough here. But I do pick up some tools in here which really make a lot of my party members much stronger. So Blackwater, it's definitely worth coming here. The loot here is amazing. EXP is great, everything. We are able to take them down, and yeah, so loot everybody up. And so if you do get stuck here, there are 2 places that you can cleanse corruption. That was one of them there. There's another place a bit further in, but I don't have to worry about it because I can leave. I pass the use magic device 39 check, so I can leave whenever I want. Don't have to worry about corruption or any of that stuff. So next room over, there are a bunch of lizard dudes that are pretty nasty. And so pay attention to what I do here, because this is basically how I cheese every encounter in this entire place. The ability to get up here basically makes Blackwater trivial, including one of the bosses, and every single encounter in this place, barring a few with ranged enemies, is trivialized by this one location here. Just being able to, it isn't even an athletics check or anything, it's just climbing a ladder. And you can climb the ladder up here. There are some caveats to it, right? So you can see here, this is pretty easy. These salamanders are pretty easy. Everything in here, so everything in here regenerates. Everything in here has to be killed with electricity. Those 2 salamanders bugged out, right? They don't have, you can see they have it was at negative 241 health and not dying. And so I had to finish him off with electricity. Thankfully, Windwog is able to do that. At this point, I'm very limited in my options, but I do leave Blackwater and then come back to increase my options, because up until that point, I only really had Windwog, who could flip on electricity damage on her weapons. Before, that would have been Camelia's job, but yeah, she's no longer with us. And so now it's Windwog's job, but then I went back to base and picked this up, the Blitz Cut Item, which ignores all defense and adds electricity damage to attacks on Razor Fiend, so now he can execute enemies, and that makes it a lot easier. Additional fights coming up here. There's another one very soon right here, right? So this one is tough because, again, a lot of ranged dudes. The key to cracking this one, I didn't cheese this one, so I hadn't started cheesing yet. I was still fighting these head on, but the key to cracking this one is there's 2 sets of enemies in this room that are on separate aggro tables. So you can see the guys up there, which are some spellcasters and some other master mobs, are not on the same aggro table as the guys down here. So make sure you fight them separately. Do not pull them both together, because together they are, pretty disgusting. And so far, right, these fights seem tough, but let me tell you, they're not the worst fights in here. The worst fights in here are the demons, because they are, if you think the humanoid enemies are bad, the demons are 10 times worse. They basically require nat 20s to land any hits, because they all have like 50 plus AC, close to 60 armor class on all of them. And yeah, they're disgusting. And so it was the demons that basically forced me into cheese. So you can see, right, I fought both sets of enemies separately there, killed the first set, and then pulled the second set. And now I'm finishing him off. So this, I don't understand what's going on. He's basically dead. Blitz Cut Item is not actually, right, I'm landing hits, but he's not dying. So I don't know what's going on here. I honestly don't know why he's not dying. To Razor Fiend, I ended up having to use coup de grace. Thankfully, Razor Fiend is a beast with the executes. You can see I'm picking up those items that allow you to open doors here. So this place right there are a lot of doors that stay locked. Okay, so Time Warden note here, you can see it gives you an idea of how to open the door, right? So symbol is basically the same. Cycle is a circle, base, circle with a dot, right? So it basically gives you the order. The third symbol in the code is a base, right? Circle with a dot. So now 2 out of the 3 symbols are variable. So you know that there is a circle with the dot is the last one, and so now it's just a question of trying the combinations, and it ends up being triangle, rhombus, and circle with the dot last. So you know circle with the dot is last, and that makes it much, much easier to try them all out, right? All right. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The demons here, look at this. Look at all the spells I'm casting. I end up getting wrecked there. So what I opt to do is cheese. Now the cheese begins. And so how I do it is I have Nenyo pull them. So my whole party gets up here because you cannot get up here while you're in combat. So my whole party waits up here. I teleport down with Nenyo, run to the demons, pull them, and then teleport back up with Nenyo. Now the thing about these demons is they can hit you if you're up here. You have to be standing in the corner. You have to be, see where my party is positioned? You have to be positioned exactly where they're positioned. It's almost pixel perfect. If you're not there, the demons can hit you. Now Razor Fiend is a tank, so it's not that big of a deal. He can take a few hits and he can dodge pretty well. But look at the positioning requirement here. You have to position there, or you can be hit. And it comes into play later on. Nenyo dies at least once. Not in this fight, but later on. And then another thing to pay attention to is the fact that even if you think you've killed everything, these incubi, so the augmented incubus, they remain in stealth there. So he was in stealth, and they only come out if they can hit you. Even if you summon stuff down there, even if you summon skeletons and whatever, they won't come out. They will only come out if they can hit one of your characters. And so I had to move Razor Fiend to the edge there so he was accessible to the incubus, and you can see how much damage it did. It almost killed me in one hit, but then it comes out of stealth and we're able to hit it. I wasn't able to see them with See Invis, right? You can see I have See Invisibility on my characters, but I wasn't able to see him. I don't know if there's some other way to spot that guy, but yeah. And that's basically every demon fight. In here, almost every fight has those augmented incubi, so you gotta be very careful. You gotta get lucky with positioning or you'll die. Obviously, having the feat that prevents you from dying when you reach 0 health is very helpful. And we missed this guy initially when we killed this group here, right? There's an augmented spellcaster here who's still clinging on to life, and you can basically figure out what's going on here. They're being controlled by the circlet that's being implanted into their head. They're basically like the Borg. They've all been assimilated, right? You will be assimilated, and yeah, they're I mean, not like the Borg, because they don't all share like a common mind with each other. They're not like a collective, but they're all connected to the guy that's controlling them, at least. I guess similar to the Borg. Alright, another fight over here. Right, you can see the 2 succubi and the other demon, the Marauder, is here. Right, look, so this, I just want you to pay attention to the positioning requirement here. Look at how tense this is, right? I'm trying to get everyone into the corner here. Arushale almost dies, and then Nenyo's getting hit because now Arushale's positioned properly, but Nenyo isn't. And so, right, look at how you have to position. You have to be really careful because the positioning requirement here is essentially pixel perfect, I want to say. So you can see she died, Nenyo died. I decided to continue here, and I'm like, I'm just going to revive her. I'm too lazy to actually reload the game here. And so, right, succubi die, 2 2 Succubus, and then the Incubus comes out when he can hit Razor Fiend, and he's the last one left alive, and we take him down. Right, Razor Fiend executes with Blitz Cut Item. Yeah. Nice and easy. So there are a lot of fights. By the end of it, that area under the ladder is just full of demons, dead demons, hundreds of dead demon bodies. Yeah, so everyone looks like they're carrying lightsabers. This place I love this place. I mean, it doesn't fit the lore. A lot of people are actually, I read that a lot of people don't like it because of how just out of place it is in this world. But I think it's pretty cool. I like it. It's a very welcome kind of change to me. And I like that they're experimenting with it. Consistency is cool, but having crazy stuff like this in games just adds flavor, in my opinion, right? It adds flavor. I love it. Thank you, Owlcat, for including this area. Yeah, so just, right, pulling them into position, Razor Fiend, he's able to be hit up here, and the reason I'm doing that is to pull the other guys in, because only if you can be hit will they move towards you. And so I had to move Razor Fiend to the edge there so that they could hit him. And be aware that they cannot hit you if you're just regular sized. At the edge, the demons can. The huge marauder demons can, but most enemies, the humanoid enemies, cannot. So you have to increase your size so they can hit you. And right, so it's a lot of doors here. And this is the first boss, Chief Khara. You can see she's immune to disease, death, petrified, a bunch of other effects. Pretty nasty fight if you were to not cheese this. And she's lawful good, right? So that's kind of crazy. Right, immune to magic missile, she's immune to force strike, things like that. So what I opt to do here is I opt to cheese the fight. And I notice there are a bunch of demons here, and I notice there are walls on either side of her. And I'm hoping that the walls are not disableable. She cannot disable them herself. I'm hoping that only I can disable them. And, right, I nuke her and run all the way back. She's a ranged enemy, so if she had come with this pack of enemies, I would have died. Because she would just be able to nuke me to death. She casts some nasty nukes. But she doesn't come with them. She does not come with them. It's just the demons. And you can see, right, I'm trying to get everyone into position, trying to get everyone into the corner. It's constantly trying to adjust position, make sure everyone is positioned perfectly right. You can see Darren took a hit there, Windog took a hit there. I'm adjusting positions, Ember took a hit there, adjusting more positions. Right, and now, isn't Ennio going to take a hit? No. Windwog took another hit, so she's not positioned well. You can see the red lines leading to whoever is being targeted, and finally I get everyone positioned perfectly, and then Darren's able to cast Blade Barrier. Blade Barrier is great for these because it just, right, consistent damage. The only issue is it kind of pushes them back, so yeah. So we take them down, right? And these are all the demons, so you could see there are 2 of the Marauders, 2 Succubi in that fight. And all the demons here are just so... Look how hard it is to just hit these things. So we are able to take her down finally. Eventually, yes. Very good. And yeah, so put away our weapons, which means there are no Incubi there, which is good. So it's 2 of the Marauders, 2 Succubi. And then we head on back to her and look at this. Right, so you can see the hand symbol there on that generator on the side. So you have to manually open the sides up. And if you don't open the sides up, she's just stuck up there. And you can use that to your advantage.
Guide my hand.
So she's a ranged enemy, but she has 2 Incubi with her who are not ranged. So yeah, I exploit the hell out of this. Right, I have Darren summoning enemies up there, and to kind of get the Incubi out of stealth. They do come out of stealth to hit the skeletons. I don't know why they don't come out of stealth to hit you when you're standing up on that ladder area if you summon skeletons, but they do come out of stealth here. So Chief Khara goes down pretty easy, and the incubi do not. You can see some of the giant elemental there. It's basically not doing any damage. Incubi, that last incubus took a lot of work to kill. Does not want to die. Razor Fiend's just having a bit of a spaz over there. But yeah, we get him down in the end, and then she gets back up and she's like, oh no, what are you talking about? We can still do this. And all of the enemies here are basically Sarkorians who thought they were doing the right thing by merging with this Numerian Technomancer's machine, and yeah, they don't know what's going on in the real world. They think they're fighting demons or getting ready to fight demons. They think their entire civilization is still up and running. They have no idea, which is kind of sad. Yeah. So a lot of these doors require picks. Okay, so here, look at that. Stormlords resolve, the bracers, and this 100 Faces Circlet. 2 items that you absolutely want to pay attention to. And this Ring of Devastating Will is also pretty damn good for tanking. But that Stormlord's resolve, the bracer, it's basically like the Ring of the Salamander, but with electricity. It allows you to cast electricity spells. I think Darren's the best person to use it if you use a Ring of Salamander on Ember, because that means Darren gets a bunch of electricity spells that he can cast, right? So this is a Ring of Devastating Will. It's a +3 Ring of Protection, so 1 less AC for me, but basically gives me some awesome other tanking abilities basically. So I'll just switch out the +4 to a +3 here, and yep, and then look at that. Amazing. So you can electric shield, you can cast electric spells, which is basically great here, right? So now Darren can cast, he can basically kill the enemies or contribute to them or execute them or whatever pretty easily. And he gets electric resistance +30 as well. It's way better than the Ring of the Salamander. It's a ridiculously powerful item. Do not miss it. It's god tier. Probably one of the best items I have, bar none. Just because of the amount of different gameplay options it unlocks. Right, more demons. Raider, Marauders. And yeah, so we're just standing up here again. We pull them to us, and it's just a question of killing them. It takes a while. It takes a long time to kill them. But now Darren is able to contribute with his lightning spells, thankfully. Right? You can see I cast Call Lightning, and then when he casts Call Lightning, he can just repeatedly cast lightning bolts back to back. You can auto cast them, which really helps. So it negates their regeneration. And yeah, you can just, then it becomes very easy to nuke them to death. And yep, they go down. And then we are able to move on. And over here, poor lady, right? She's one of the Crusaders who got captured, but she's somehow able to resist the compulsion that this guy, 100 Face, casts. Even though she's had the helmet implanted, and she basically begs you to kill her. She tells you about the rest of the Crusaders that came with her, and yeah, I grant her a merciful death. Alright, look at this. Helmet of the Abyss Killer. That is 100% a Doom reference, right? It's the Doom guy there. So outside that, there are more Salamanders, and they're kind of neutral to you, but if you interact with any of the boxes there, unfortunately they aggro, and you do have to interact with the boxes there if you do want to make yourself the helmet of immunity. And so yeah, you have to kill them basically. There's no way around killing them. I suppose if you had a high enough stealth skill or something, you could probably loot it and then just run out without having to deal with them, but you know what, just kill them, whatever. They're not good guys anyways, so I don't feel bad. And so yeah, pull them back to the good old location and take him out there. This place, this area basically made the entire zone super easy. Trivialized almost every encounter. One of the bosses there. So components for 100 faces Circlet, and then we got 100 faces Circlet from the place with the Stormlord's resolve as well. And then you can combine those two to over here. So you combine them here, right? So you can see knowledge world check, and you. So this, I think this thing is bugged. I don't know how many times in a row you can interact with it. So look at this. I leave. I don't click use magic device. I just leave. And I click back on it, and boom, I gain more EXP. It's only 13 EXP and 30 EXP, but if you could just do that endlessly, infinitely, I guess you could get infinite EXP here or something, but I don't want to cheese it that bad. I don't have the time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Here's another cool item you can get, triple fin helmet, which is nice on the Triceratops, right? He doesn't do much damage. I guess on lower difficulty he'd probably be pretty beastly at this point, but not on unfair. He's a piece of crap. Just useful for carrying my loads and occasionally letting me ride around. And look at this. So this is the last boss here. 2 Tesla coils, and he just summons demons. He summons demons. Yeah, not a nice fight, and he traps you in there with him. Right, so yes, I am absolutely trapped in here with him. He's not trapped in here with me. But let's see if we can change that. Let's see if we can cheese this in such a way. It does take me a while to figure out how to cheese this. I think back to the first encounter with the Tesla coils, right? You can interact with the Tesla coils to disable them, so absolutely disabling them is my go-to goal here. But I get thrashed pretty soundly there, so I'm like, okay, is there more to explore in this place before we try that guy again? And yeah, there is. There are more rooms here, more demons to take on. I'm just going to fast forward through this because you've seen it a bunch of times already. We pull them back to the location and we kill them. And there's, I believe there's an incubus in this pack as well. Yeah, there he is. Pull him out of stealth with Razor Fiend, and boom, we head on back here, loot up, get a. This was the room that contained those demons that we just killed here.
Forgive me.
And yeah, boom.
I'm glad I was useful to you.
It's a pretty nice mace. Gives you greater invis. So there's another item that you pick up way earlier that gives you every crit hit. It gives you a basically haste effect for your whole party. Yeah. So after that, we come here, and it basically tells you that you press both the symbols, the hand and the wind, and don't press the fire, because fire basically, if you pass the check, it tells you that. So I guess if you press fire, it just destroys everything in the room, all the loot. So don't press fire unless you don't care about the loot and you just want to. Some people just like to watch the world burn. So I wouldn't fault you for pressing fire here, but I don't do it. We want the loot, and yeah. Then it's back to the boss over here, and I'm gonna make a just the tips video for this guy. I couldn't really fit him in here if I wanted to keep it under 30 minutes, but basically the gist of it is this, right? Make sure you spread your entire party out, and you can disable everything in here. Everything is interactable with, and the demons come in based on these machines. So Rushale to disable the 2 Tesla coils, and the other party members to disable the summoning pylons here. You can see I'm not in combat with the boss, but unfortunately one incubus was summoned from the depths below, but we're able to take him down, right? We weren't able to disable the pylon early enough. Something to note here, if you try and disable the pylons before the fight starts, it doesn't work, and then you're screwed because you cannot interact with them after the fight starts. So don't disable them before the fight starts, you have to disable them after the fight begins. So yeah, after the conversation is triggered, not after the fight begins, because right, you can see here, I'm not in combat with the guy. We just triggered the conversation with him. And the main bad guy here, the boss himself, is easy. The demons are way harder than he is. and we take him down without too much difficulty, and then interact with the machine here, and we make the good choice to destroy it. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you in the next episode.